right, gonna go live now. All right, looks like we're on live now. Yay! 2 minutes early, just cause life is messy, community's messy, and this is the best time to get on here. So here we go. So I'm Dr. April Moreno, and this is day 2 of the birthday celebration prelude for the Sisterhood of Limitless Living podcast. So next week we're going to be celebrating from the 20th to the 22nd, 3 days. I always want to think 20th to the 23rd. That's in my head, that's 3 days, but it's not. 20th to the 23rd from 12 to 2 Pacific time, where we have our live party here on Instagram. So the Sisterhood of Limitless Living is an autoimmune community of women. It's a podcast. It's a community. It's in person. It's virtual. It is wherever you need to be. Also, in terms of life success is also whatever you want it to be. So today I'm going to be talking to you about day 2 of this pre-celebration party live recording on the topic of tools for autoimmune integrative wellness. So what is integrative wellness? You may want to know. So if you are new to the topic, new to the term, integrative wellness tends to be about a whole person approach to living and to improving your wellness. And wellness is more than physical health. So I think we're slowly in the medical field, slowly coming around to that understanding and that conversation of how wellness is more than physical health. So today we're going to be talking about that in terms of the whole person, whole being approach to autoimmune wellness. So this is one of my absolute favorite topics, if you know me. And so today, let's go ahead and go into it. In most integrative wellness circles, you're going to hear about integrative wellness in terms of mind, body, spirit, and there's one more, emotion, I believe. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But because I have a public health perspective, and you'll hear this a lot, public health brings us a different lens into understanding life and community and wellness and healing and your role in the world. So when we think about the whole person approach, we're also looking at the whole ecosystem approach as well, literally. So we look at 4 dimensions of wellness in terms of mind, body, spirit, and environment. Okay, so the environmental component is slightly different. It's packaged, categorized differently compared to other conventional forms of conversation in terms of integrative wellness. So today, we're going to go into detail on mind, body, spirit, and environment. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So mind is the first part, right? The first part we're going to do is mind because it's the foundation of wellness. So when you are going through an autoimmune issue, relapse, maybe this is your first relapse ever, maybe it's just like those multiple mysterious symptoms over the years, and then finally it just comes into this full-blown relapse of some kind of inflammation in the body that is causing temporary disability or causing some kind of permanent exacerbation in the body. These are things that we want to address first mentally, because it's first going to happen up in here, because we're going to be like, what is going on? What am I going through? What am I dealing with here? Right? So this is what we're talking about first, the mind component of autoimmune integrative wellness. With the mind, we like to talk a lot about just coming to terms with things. You know, it can take people anywhere from, I would say, a couple of months, even down to like 10 years or more, for people to come to terms with their autoimmune diagnosis and their autoimmune condition. For me, it took like 2 months for me to understand, like, this is it. This is the diagnosis. This is my life now. Coming to terms with that reality and that new change and that new normal. So the mental part is super important. So that's the foundation of these 4 components of integrative autoimmune wellness that we work with. And I'm also an autoimmune integrative wellness coach. So these are the foundational practices of getting people through the journey of autoimmune acceptance and then into living limitlessly across all spectrum, the full spectrum of integrative wellness and quality of life. So the mind part is super important. So these practices can include acceptance, awareness, mindfulness, meditation, right? Visualization. These are very powerful tools. And I talked a little bit about this yesterday, where I told you all, like I had like a psychiatry appointment yesterday. You know, we are here in the context of COVID-19 right now, the pandemic, the international pandemic, right? Every so often I'm like, crap, this is international. But you know, the tools that we have in the autoimmune and disability community are there to equip us for all kinds of disasters out there. So we're used to things happening, you know, in our world as part of our everyday lives. If you are living with mental illness, anxiety, depression as well, you are pretty accustomed in many ways to dealing with and coping with these difficulties that my psychiatrist was just like, I'm really amazed because you are dealing and coping with this so much better than the average healthy person. My new clients, my new patients are people who are usually like able to get it all together. And now with the pandemic, this is like maybe like one of their first times in a while that they've had to deal with something. So he's just like, your tools, your toolkit for doing well despite the pandemic is amazing. I'm like, yeah, this is our life. This is autoimmune disability living. So we are equipped, and can be trained, and we can have that capacity, whether it's now during the pandemic season or every day, because you know these things come up throughout our lives. So the mind component is crucial. So the next one I want to go into is the body. Of course, the body aspect of integrative health, physical health, is also super important. So once you've gotten your mind together, gotten into that calm state, into that acceptance state, being willing to assess the situation. We're no longer frazzled. We're no longer totally freaking out all the time, right? It's life. We will freak out occasionally, possibly, but you know, we've gotten the tools now. Maybe we've gone to our mental health specialist now. We've gone to a psychiatrist and psychologist, both of them, okay, in combination is it's a very good tool. For about, 30 years, I was convinced I did not need a psychiatrist. I did not want to take drugs. I was completely like unwilling to do that. I've got this. I'm going to handle this on my own. But anyway, once I actually did go to a psychiatrist, I was just like, why didn't I do this before? This is making it so much easier to deal with anxiety. Okay, back to the body now. So we've gotten our mental stuff together now. We've gotten a handle on being able to process what's going on with our strange symptoms, mysterious symptoms of the body, this new diagnosis, if you're given a diagnosis, second, third, fourth opinion or more, gone through it, if you have a diagnosis. Now in the body part, you know, understanding that physical health needs, so like getting the care from a physician, going to the specialist, finding the doctor that you trust, okay? Don't rely and don't continue to just stick with somebody that you don't quite feel comfortable with. If you don't trust them, move forward, fire them, or whatever the phrase is these days. Just keep moving forward. Find out what's covered under your insurance and how you can find the best specialists. For me, it's really about finding a research institution. That's really important to me, finding someone who's aware of the newest advancements in chronic disease, autoimmune research, and medication, all of it. Spirit is another one that is super important. This is a third of the 4 dimensions of integrative autoimmune wellness. Spirit is where you come together with that mind approach, where you are speaking to the higher power of the universe, right? It's God, it's whoever that you believe in, and coming into that sense of peace. So this is where the mind and the spirit work together so that you're able to understand how your situation fits in with your overall life existence, your meaning and purpose in life. How is this going to keep moving forward, right? So, you know, I have the mental capacity and I can handle my anxiety and my depression. Now I need that motivation to identify, why am I here? What is the whole purpose of all of this, right? So that is the third one, finding your practice of faith, groundedness, gratitude, appreciation, and service to the world. Okay, so we're here. Why are we here? And who are we here to help? And then the fourth one is also a favorite of mine. I shouldn't have favorites, but I love talking about the environment because this is one that a lot of people don't cover. Our environment, and again, combined with spirit, all four of these things connect us to the reality of who we are as living creatures, right? In this universe, and even limitless creatures in this universe, living limitless beings in the world. So that environmental part is also where we talk about in public health. I'm gonna wave to you all. Hi there. Thank you for joining. I hope this is helpful for you. Understanding these four components of integrative autoimmune wellness. Environment, did you know in public health, we talk a lot about environment, the social determinants of health. Your zip code can dictate your lifespan. So I don't know if a lot of people discuss this or acknowledge this or recognize the fact that your zip code can dictate your lifespan for many reasons. And actually, there's no debate. There's no debate about this. Where you live, you need to consider the fact that there's noise pollution, there's air pollution, there is a certain type of food available in your community. There are food deserts. A food desert is a place where it's really hard to access a supermarket. A food swamp is a place where it's really hard to access food that's healthy. So you can be like surrounded by fast food outlets, 7-Elevens, Circle K's or whatever, liquor stores. But if you don't have healthy food around you, you live in a swamp. And so all of this dictates how we choose to live. And you can put on your blinders and never see it. But I know if I'm going to pass by a Jack in the Box and see those crispy egg rolls and, anyway, I shouldn't even go there. But if you see stuff that you're just like tempted to want and it's in your presence all the time, what are you going to do? So, your environment dictates your quality of life, the people you even spend your time with, the messages that you choose to encounter, the information, the news access. So we're seeing in, Gallup, New Mexico, in my other podcast, we're seeing this access to news information, the internet, things like that are really difficult to access for many people. We've worked with Spanish language communities in contact tracing. That's the next episode of COVID-19 PPC, where access to quality information is difficult because of your location, even the newspaper outlets, and then the country even. So it can go globally, it can go community-wise. But yeah, I think that's it in terms of the four dimensions of autoimmune wellness today, integrative wellness, that I'll be talking about, that I continue to talk about. This is like my favorite topic. And, I support women out there going through the autoimmune experience so that they can develop a well-rounded quality of life across the full spectrum of integrative autoimmune wellness out there. So I hope you'll join us next week or even tomorrow, where we continue with day 3 out of 5 of this live recording so that we can celebrate the birthday of the Sisterhood of Limitless Living podcast. All right, so yeah, today is day 2 out of 5 of this autoimmune conversation. All right, take care.